Hey, are you one of those game developers that can't seem to figure out how to create your own sprites and ending up spending a penny for game assets online? Or do you simply like looking at pixel art, feeling the nostalgia from the memories of your old NES childhood days and contemplating, man, I wish I could draw stuff like that? Well, good news is that you are in the right place, my friend. Well, my name is Elijah and welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is 100% subjective and heavily relies on my personal opinion and on which strategies would work the best for me. Hopefully this video would serve its purpose and that these strategies would work out fine for you too. Also, with this tutorial, I will be mainly using Photoshop. However, these strategies would be applicable to all types of photo editing programs. So, we're gonna start with choosing your canvas size. There has been a lot of complications with choosing the correct canvas sizes. People have correlated specific sizes to specific art styles, but all in all, calling your artwork 8-bit, 16, or 32 whatever doesn't actually correspond to the numbers of pixels, but instead corresponds to specific hardware limitations of the past. I'll give you an example. For the NES, it was only able to utilize 25 colors on a 256 by 240 pixel screen. Therefore, the developers are forced to stick with a very conservative art style. However, since we are already on the modern age of computer hardware, then it doesn't matter. There is no perfect canvas size. You can actually choose any number of pixels, just as long as you follow a 1:1 ratio for your canvas. This would make it a lot easier for you to manage your frames, especially when you're doing animations or sprite sheets. Also, you're going to want to have to make sure that your canvas would have enough space for your character to move around when animated. So let's get things to work. I kind of want to recreate this all-time gaming favorite character, the slime. As you can see, I'm mainly using Photoshop, and we'll make a new file and we'll make it with a 32 by 32 pixel canvas. There we go. We're going to zoom in a little bit. And it seems that we're up to our next topic, which is the blockouts. Blocking out your character is the process of using basic shapes and outlines to formulate your character's composition. It is most important that with just the blockout, the qualities of your character's identity can be easily defined by the viewers. Let's take these guys as an example. As of the moment, we do not have enough information to know what they actually are, but based on their blockouts, we can easily say that this guy on the left has wings, therefore he flies. We can say that the guy in the middle is quite on the hefty side due to his bulky size, and the overall physique would tell us that this guy would be quite heavy, though we do not actually know whether or not he's wearing armor or is he made out of rock or metal. And we can also say that he skips his leg days. And for this guy on the right, we can say that he's somehow lighter than the other guy. As you can tell, he's wearing a cape indicating that he's wearing light material or clothing perhaps. This would make the guy somehow quicker. He's also carrying a stick of some sort, however we do not actually know whether or not that's actually a stick. It may be a spear or a staff or whatsoever. With these information provided, we may not know what these guys actually are, but the blockout would give us hints of their characteristics, how they weigh, what they do, or whatsoever. And what's great is that simply giving them color would just fill all those missing details that you were looking for. So let's head right back into Photoshop. Instead of using the brush, we're going to want to use the pencil tool for pixel art. With the pencil tool, we would be able to draw pixel by pixel, unlike the brush tool. And also, we're going to want to have to draw the character on a separate layer. For this sprite, I kind of want to go for an outlined approach. I wanted to make it as asymmetrical as possible, so as you can see, we're hitting an equal number of pixels on both sides. And there we go, we have our blockouts done, and we're going to head on towards our next topic, which is choosing your base color. Let's take Doris, the mage you saw from the intro. She says hi, by the way. She loves my viewers as much as I do, and she's going to help me explain how colors play a huge difference in character design. Now let's shift Doris's hue to red. As we know, red can be used to signify fire, purple signifies darkness or corruption, blue is the color of the ocean, which can be something magical or signifies the unknown, green signifies nature, or on the darker side it can be poison, and yellow for gold, which are great conductors of electricity. See, just by subtly changing these colors, we are able to identify which powers this Doris have, what type of element is she able to conjure. This, in fact, is actually a huge step up in terms of character design. So let's head right back into Photoshop and let's do the work. Thank you, Doris. So we'll be choosing the base color for the slime. For this, we're going to be focusing mainly on the hue value. Just a quick tip, I highly suggest we're going to use the same color picker as we see in the video, which is the HSV, or hue saturation value. Later on, I'll be explaining why. So if your editing program's color picker is not on HSV, most likely there is an option to change that. But then again, it's always up to you. So I'll be landing on the yellow hue for the slime, and let's think of this imaginary box just right in this position as you can see in this video. So the purpose of that box is that we'll be choosing our base color inside the boundaries of that box. This allows us more versatility once we go into our next topic, which is shading. So heading back to Photoshop, we already have our base color right here, and we're going to want to use the fill tool. Make sure to check the anti-aliasing just to make sure Photoshop wouldn't give you problems with the pixels, and send it. There we go. Now we're going to want to create a new layer, and for this layer we're going to name it light. Creating a different layer is actually optional, it's all up to you, but I prefer layers just to make sure everything is manageable. The next thing that we're going to want to do is that we're going to want to need to predetermine a light source. Let's take this arrow as a placeholder. The light is coming from this direction towards the upper right hand corner of the slime. This basically means that the upper right hand corner would be the lighter side, whereas the exact opposite would be equally darker. Right, so the question now is, how are we going to choose the color for the light? Let's zoom in into our HSV color picker yet again, and this is actually the main reason why I want you to pick your base color on the imaginary box. Now, let's say we're going for the color on the brighter sides. What we're going to want to do is move the picker towards the upper left-hand corner in a roughly 45-degree angle from the base color. What this means is that you are going for the lesser saturation with a higher light value. We also want to move the hue slider upwards. This will imitate the hue shift that naturally happens whenever light hits an object in real life. So as you can see here, I'm going for the brighter side, and I just chose a color by following that 45-degree angle that I mentioned earlier and shifted the hue upwards just a little bit. And look at it go. You just picked the perfect natural light color. Next up is we're going to be getting the darker values. We're going to do it by using the dropper tool to get our base color value. And this time we're going to do the exact same opposite as what we did for the light value. It's still going to be this 45-degree angle, however it would be going towards the lower right hand corner of the color picker. With this, the color that we would be picking would have the lesser light value and a higher saturation. We also would want to do the exact same opposite in the hue slider. Instead of going up, we're going to go downwards just a little bit. And there we have it. We'll be sending it. And there goes our shading lesson. Let's take it a step further. Say you want to make your character a lot more defined than what we already have. What we need to do is to add more light and dark tones. So as an example, I want to start with the darker tone. Basically, what we need to do is to use the color picker towards the dark tone that we already have. And from that dark tone is we're going to do the same process to get an even darker tone. That means more saturation, less light value, and another downward hue shift. And we're also going to do the exact same opposite towards the lighter tones. As of the moment, our slime is currently on a kind of matte material. And we know that slimes are slimy. Light would reflect off of them. We are going to imitate that by adding in specularity. We're going to take the lightest value and we're going to do the exact same color picking process. However, this time we're going to amp it up all up the top. And I'll be using this color to imitate the shininess of our slime. Also, I'll be adding in the eyes by just using a couple of white pixels. And there we go. There you have it. Your very first Sprite character explained in my easiest way possible. And if you're thinking of going into advanced character design, I'm thinking of making another video for that. You can keep yourself posted by hitting the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and that would make me so happy. So once again, I really hope that this video would serve its purpose and that this video would help you a lot. If you have any comments or suggestions, if there's anything you want to say, just leave a comment down below. A like would be appreciated, and as always, y'all stay safe.